We're here with Michael Hill, who's a regional director for Volatus Aerospace Corporation here at the show, and you're responsible primarily for the cargo side of Volatus.
I am, yeah.
And so, what's new?
Lots of things. We've got our AV Drone 210 on display here. It's a very unique aircraft. We can fly that under Part 107 rules. We stay under that 55-pound limit. But the biggest thing is we're using that aircraft and developing a service out in the Gulf of Mexico to resupply oil rigs that are out in the Gulf right now. So we're working with a global maritime company that's been in business for 80 years out in the Gulf. This particular location in the Gulf, 90% of all oil in the Gulf comes right through this port.
Oh, wow.
So they're currently using maritime vessels and helicopters to resupply the rigs, which are, there's 1,983 of them in the Gulf. Most of them are within an eye's view of the shore, but the furthest out is 100 miles. So our target is 100 pounds, 100 miles, fly that BV loss to resupply these oil rigs to help in reducing the cost of using helis.
And that's a developmental target, though.
Yeah. Right now we're doing short runs, rig to rig, visual line of sight stuff, as we're building out our case studies to go and apply for our BV loss waiver out there.
So specifically, I mean, some of it's pretty obvious, but you might as well restate it. Specifically, the competitive advantage will be range, what payload,
Well, if you look at helis, let's say, and the number varies, but let's say 8,000 to 10,000 an hour to run a helicopter, right? So versus you have a supply ship that goes out once a day, they load it up, sends it out there, right? Helis are used for their short runs. They're not used at night unless it's an emergency. So they're looking, this major oil and gas company said, we want to do this, but we don't want to be your guinea pig. Find a partner to work through this. So we found an offshore maritime company that does this globally, and we've started to work with them. Doing rig-to-rig, close deliveries, working the concept out, getting our case study documents together to apply for our BV loss.
And right now it's the AV Drone 210 for this?
It is.
And can you talk about that vehicle?
Yeah, so the AV Drone 210 is a very unique aircraft that's built and designed and manufactured out of Toronto, Canada by AV Drone Aerospace. And so the one that we have now that's on display here can fly under Part 107, so we stay under that 55-pound rule. It's got a laser altimeter on each end, so it can land on a moving object. It also auto-adjusts into the wind for precision in flying. It's got a patented catch and release system, which is about a 4-foot drop box that can be corrugated or steel or plastic, depending on what you want. It can also be divided up into 2 packages, so you have 1 drop, go to a second location, second drop, or there's a parachute system on it that cargo can be released to there. So the 210 is the smallest in the fleet, but that design can scale up to carry 1,000-pound payload.
Oh wow! And so when you talk about Volatus, I mean, are you a service company? Are you a technology developer? Are you all the above?
Yeah, so what's interesting with that is we pride ourselves in being a technology agnostic company.
Okay.
Right? So we have over 40 aircraft in our catalog, along with software solutions and training solutions and other things. But what makes it unique is we have a client that has a problem. We come in and develop a solution to solve that problem. So that's why we're so proud to be a technology agnostic company.
So I want to, I've been asking a lot of people about 2 years out, but I want to take you out to 2025.
Yeah.
And you know why.
Yeah, that's a pretty exciting time for us, right? So there's a startup aircraft company out of San Diego. It's called Nautilus. They are developing, testing their Nautilus aircraft right now. We take the first one off their line in 2025. Holds 20,000 pounds of cargo, flies 1,500 miles, totally unmanned. So we're super excited about that. So we've started to develop all of these. We currently have a number of offshore cargo projects that we're doing around the world. So the Nautilus kind of fits into our whole plan with cargo flights, right? I personally believe that the future of cargo is remotely piloted, right? You have so many cost-effective cuts that can come.
But right now, those applications of it would kind of finesse the BV loss.
Yeah, that's why it's so unique. Like the Gulf project we're working on, we're working through those motions to find out what works, what wasn't, because it's a really complex operation.
Well, it looks beautiful. I mean, I saw
it's a beautiful aircraft.
And You know, that's great. And what? So I have two more questions for you. You know, is there a story or a use case that sticks in your mind as something as either a point of proof or just some weird stuff that you overcame?
Yeah, so I'll tell you when I can't go into too deep because we're just starting operations, but there is a U.S. auto manufacturer that their parts are made in Canada. They put it in a truck. They've got to drive down a road, go through customs, and deliver it to the manufacturer. And if you look across the water, it's less than half a mile.
Right.
So we're developing a service with this company right now to use the AV Drone 210 to fly those car parts.
It's like a John Lennon moment.
Yeah.
Imagine there's no borders.
Dude,
right?
there is, yeah. Because and if traffic or customs, it could take up to an hour to get that part around. Right?
You know, and then the last question is anything you want to add?
Yeah, if you're here at the Expo, please come by the Volatus booth. We've got so many of our aircrafts and solutions. We've got our Draxon mobile vehicle. We've got several DJI aircraft that are there. We'd love to have you come by and talk to you about some of the things we're doing in public safety or cargo or ag or our trainings and law enforcement support.
Fantastic. Great. Well, thanks a lot for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
Right.
Yeah, appreciate it.